Exodus chapter 4, introduction. Well, before I start just with that, I just quickly, there were two places during the COVID years that I used to jog to get ready for the possible trip, which then didn't pan out. And the one was in Hawaiian, I recorded there, and this is now the other one of them here in Bangkok. And so, yeah, I used to come here and jog. You can jog quite a while, a couple of kilometers, easily 5 kilometers up and down the canals here. It's to the eastern side of the city. Not too far from the airport, but still a bit from the airport. It's like halfway between the airport and downtown kind of idea, right? It's it's a nice area, very beautiful trees. When you see different kinds of wildlife here, even actually, so it's kind of nice. You don't feel as if you're really that much in the city. In those days, it was quite important. Right, so, what is this chapter about? Moses still at the bush, and God speaking to Moses, and Moses still trying his best to get out of this. Right, he's playing all these cards about. So they're not going to listen to me. How? And God said, yes, I'm giving you signs. The sign of the snake, right, that turns the rod turning into a snake. The leprosy, right, putting his hand in and taking it out. The blood turning into water. Now the first two he could do there at the spot, but understandably the blood turning into water, that is what he's supposed to do, and that is what will happen, right? And he was not at the Nile at that stage, so he could not take water from the Nile. Understandably, he was not surrounded by any water even. So the signs that God gave, and God said, well, I'll give you these signs, and that ought to be enough for them, right? 3 signs. Okay, we know how later on in the Gospel of John, the Jews are always going to come and ask for signs, seeming that the signs is something they always wanted. Now, I guess if you're living in a slavery and you need to leave a country and go against the main political power and the superpower of the day, then I guess having a sign would kind of be nice, rather than just following some other madman after 40 years of living in the wilderness and the desert and remembering that he was kind of here. Is this just what Moses has been doing there for 40 years in the desert, planning to overthrow Pharaoh? Now Pharaoh is dead and now he can come and take over power. Is this now that's all behind? So yes, signs is quite important. I mean, there's nothing in God in the Bible. He will give signs so even sometimes say, I'll give you a sign. Like Ahab, right? But then he didn't want the sign or Ahaz. No, sorry, just the ending forgot there. The king, bad with names. And then he didn't want, and so God was angry with him for that. So yes, that's not a problem per se. The sign's not a problem, it's trusting God. That's always a problem. So anyhow, so Moses then send someone else, don't send me. And that is after God said, but I'll harden Pharaoh's heart. And what he's supposed to tell Pharaoh. And God then just got angry at him. God then said, I won't go against your free will. I'm not going to let you go. Sorry, I will try someone else then. Till I find someone who can do this. Till I find someone who can live a perfect life, right? Just kill Adam and Eve and restart. Till I find someone like that. Well, he couldn't because there was none. And so God was not going to just play this game here with him. He had enough of this. And so he told him, right, go. That's all. Well, the tongue idea, I can't speak. I will look at that as well. I think is a more probable explanation for what Moses meant. And so, well, God is well promising, telling him that he will send his brother Aaron to be his spokesperson, and that he, as Moses, will be like a God to him. And that is then what God did. He told Aaron to come and to meet him. Okay, and so yes, we will as well look at just that, how all of this happened, right? But that's not that important, not for now, not in the introduction part. Okay, and then yes, he went to his father-in-law, told him he wants to see if his people are still okay, which is kind of not the truth, but most likely the way things were done in those days. And then he took his wife and his kids, and after God as well again appeared to him and told him that the people seeking his life is dead, And remember, the same thing will happen with Jesus later on when he leaves Egypt, when God appears in a dream and told that the people seeking the life of his son is dead so that he can go back to Israel, to the promised land. Right? So these stories always repeat themselves. Right? Because, well, history repeats itself because it's God's story, I guess. But because we don't change, and God doesn't change, ultimately. Right? And so on the way, he was met by the angel who wanted to kill him. So it's kind of weird. Why? And then his wife Zephora circumcised his one son. And I'll look at the teaching of that as well. So what was the reason behind this? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And so, he went off and he got to the people in Egypt and spoke with them, and they were happy. Unlike what he thought, they were happy that God heard them and that now there is going to come, there is a way out of this hardship, slavery at last, because God heard them and God is going to do something about them. So praise God for that. So let me just show you a little bit more of the canal here, the specific one. Right. Wild fig tree up there, like a wild fig tree. I think you can see it kind of. And I don't know how far this thing will go again, but on this side, you can see even like the boats with garbage bins on them. So actually they go up and down the canal and they collect the garbage of the people living next to it. So that's kind of good. One boat like this already passed me this morning. And luckily not now while we're teaching, but yes. This is basically going to be the final recording for now here in Thailand, because God willing, today I'll be going to Yangon, and today is the 4th of September. So you will only see this video a lot later than the 4th of September. Next year, most likely only. Well, not most likely, for sure. So let's continue the journey.